NBA championship.
Can Kevin Durant save the Warriors season? Does it even matter with Kawhi and co rolling?
And in what could be our final show, we celebrate 6 years at NBA TV.
It's Monday, June 10th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World! And welcome to the starters presented by Jack Daniels, Old Number 7 and Tennessee Honey. We're live from Jurassic Park ahead of Game 5 of the NBA Finals. It's a little rainy, but no one cares. We're going to have 10,000 people plus behind us, and the crowd is pumped and already chanting Raps in 5. They're saying it's over. I'm J.E. Skeets. Thank you so much for joining us. Alongside me, as always, is Tess Mills.
What's better than this? Nothing! Nothing is better than this.
This is crazy. Alongside him, it's the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends!
Friends!
Yeah, look at all the friends here today.
And last, certainly not least, it's the bearded one, Trey Kirby. Oh my goodness, guys. We are coming to you live, obviously, from Jurassic Park outside the Scotiabank Arena here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, where the Toronto Raptors are 1 win away from winning the NBA championship.
Excuse me?
1 win away from possibly winning the NBA championship. And this is all extra surreal because if the Raptors win to close this out tonight, this could be our last show with NBA TV. So it's sort of very oddly, possibly full circle, having started here in Toronto, being here in Toronto for what could be the end of the 2019 NBA season. And again, I want to repeat that because every time I say it out loud, I catch myself. The Toronto Raptors are 1 win away from the NBA championship. Cass, you were there since day one as a Raptors fan. How have you been coping today, or wrapping your head around this?
I'm just riding the high, Skeets. All these crazies here. It extends back to Oracle when you could hear them in the crowd. For a Raptors basket, you could hear the away team cheering. In my days of watching basketball, I don't remember that whatsoever.
Not in especially such a loud arena as Oracle Arena usually is. You know, that's one of the most intimidating arenas in the NBA, but the Raptors fans were holding their own. In fact, probably outweighing the Warriors fans. It was just incredible.
It's getting louder and louder and louder. It was loud here for game 1. This is way crazier. We just saw like a 50-person dance-off back here, and this is 3 hours before the game. It's wild. People are going crazy. You can't even talk for 10 seconds without somebody just yelling for no reason. It's awesome.
I'm just reading your lips as you talk. I can't hear you whatsoever.
I can barely hear you guys. The day has been really weird too. It's going to be a weird comparison, but this is what it must have felt like back in 1969 when Apollo 11 landed. You were alive, right? 1969. Apollo 11 landed on the moon. And then they waited like 6 hours before someone walked on the moon.
Right.
And that's what today has felt like, just waiting and waiting and waiting for this Game 5 of the Finals with the Raps up 3-1.
I thought you were going to make a Maple Leafs reference. The last time the Leafs won the Stanley Cup, there was a parade. Not going there yet?
Not going there
That's
yet.
why we're all wearing suits here, Skeets. It's all business time.
It is all
trying to
business.
complete the job here.
That's exactly what the Raptors are thinking back in that locker room. But let's talk about the game. The big news, of course, today, the reports that Kevin Durant, he's a game time decision. He could be playing here tonight. This is obviously huge news for the Warriors' chances of trying to get back into this. Can Durant save the Warriors not only tonight, can he save them in this series?
First of all, it's great news for us, for everybody watching and talking about the game, because it's a curveball. We didn't necessarily knew it was coming. This is just exciting. I think it's exciting for the Raps to take that forward. It's also exciting for the Warriors, who did not look so good at the end of Game 4. Looked like they needed a boost. Well, how about one of the best players in the world coming into your lineup? How much is KD going to play? I don't think he's going to make the impact personally for them to win. I think the impact will be sort of indirect. Steph Curry getting space, potentially, because KD is just such a boost on anyone else playing out there on the perimeter. And Steph could go off, and the center rotation changes that hasn't been giving the Warriors much. Will Steph do enough? And will KD be playing the end of the fourth quarter? I think the trickle-down effect is what I'll be watching.
Still a lot of questions to be answered. Another big one, though, is that the Warriors needed, like you're saying, Tass, a boost on the court, but also emotionally. At the end of Game 4, they looked defeated. It looked like after Game 4, this is over. Now getting Kevin Durant back, that gives them something in their psyche thinking, hey, we got the best guy in the league up to his injury coming back in the playoffs. You saw the boost they got from getting Klay Thompson back. They were hot in that first quarter, couldn't sustain it. The key will be sustaining it for the Warriors because surely they'll be fired up when the tip comes.
It's just such a mystery to know exactly how much that calf is still bothering him. And if this was a regular season game or just maybe not a series-saving game, would he even play? Right. Because he went out and practiced, and then it was reported that he was questionable. Then Woj said he wants to play. But if he goes out there and he's not the Kevin Durant that we know he can be, then it maybe doesn't make that much of a difference to the Warriors anyway. I mean, Steph Curry has looked a little gassed in this series, so has Klay Thompson. So having someone out there who can get a basket for them obviously helps the Warriors.
Yeah.
But if that guy who can get your baskets can't maybe move laterally as much as he would like to, doesn't have the same leap, then it might not have the significant impact.
But I think that goes back to what Tass is saying. The Warriors, despite having Curry and Klay, obviously back in Game 4, two of the greatest shooters of all time, they lack in shooting.
Yeah.
That's what we've seen here in this series. Outside of those guys, the Raptors are totally content to leave basically everybody else alone on the perimeter. Iguodala, go ahead and shoot. Draymond, go ahead and shoot. Quinn Cook even, one of the better shooters on their team that we saw in Game 4. Go ahead and shoot. We'll live with that. Just having Durant out there, similar to Klay in Game 4, and he had a great game coming back from his injury. It's just spacing. It's a 7-footer that you have to respect.
Sure.
That to open up more room for some of your other guys.
Sure. In Game 4, we saw the Warriors, as you said, Trey, come out with Klay. They gave the Raps a huge punch, but the Raps felt it, handled it, no problem. Now they're at home. I feel like they'll be able to deal with that punch as well. And I wonder what the Warriors do if they go small, if they go to the Hampton lineup with Draymond Green at the 5. The Raps have been dominating that. They've been dominating the boards. They didn't want to go to the Hampton lineup because Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka have been so good. They've only played 5 minutes of that. That's something that the Raptors should be good playing in this series.
So if Kevin Durant does play in Game 5 here, he's going to start, you assume, and are they going to start the mega death lineup, whatever you want to call it, with KD and Draymond and Iguodala and then the Splash Brothers?
It's nice because they can get away from DeMarcus Cousins, right? That's a nice, a quick excuse to get away from DeMarcus because he hasn't looked like himself.
They certainly don't have a big, strong, big out that they can trust right now. Cousins clearly not healthy. Andrew Bogut's been okay, but he hasn't been the player he was 4 or 5 years ago. Steve Kerr clearly doesn't trust Jordan Bell, and Kevon Looney is also still banged up.
That's right.
So maybe if you're Steve Kerr, you're like, let's just run these guys out there, see if we can get off to a good start, put the Raptors under some pressure. But at some point, he's going to have to rotate in one of those guys just for some minutes.
So to counter, does Nick Nurse just totally, of course, stick with the big, stick with Marc Gasol starting and see how that goes if they are going up against the small ball lineup?
Gasol has been great in 3 of the 4 games, and he's been going up against, in general, another big guy, which is, I think, has been helping out Marc Gasol. So I would imagine that the Raptors stick with their standard starting lineup. They haven't had to face this Warriors team yet, so there's no reason they need to adjust until we see how KD's out there moving. Maybe you're going to see a little bit more Serge Ibaka today than Marc Gasol if the Warriors are playing small and they need somebody out there who's a little bit quicker, but Ibaka has been pretty good the last couple of games. So if you're getting him running around on the court, maybe that's a good thing for the Raptors as well.
The pressure is on the Warriors here to come and do something different. You know, the Raptors got to feel confident. Nick Nurse is going to feel pretty confident with anybody he puts out on the floor. So it's up to Golden State to try to shake things up a little bit. If it doesn't work, you know that that's going to favor Toronto.
I just wonder how much is Kevin Durant going to play? He's had 33 days since his last game.
It's a long time.
Is he going to come out here in an NBA Finals game after practicing once and play 30 to 35 minutes? That's a lot to expect of a guy. And yeah, we talked about defensively. This is also another lineup for them, for a flow team to adapt to. And yes, they played in the past, but it is another adaptation that they're going to have to make.
What about the Raptors here? What do they need to do to win this Game 5? I mean, especially from the jump, if Kevin Durant is out there. What's their mentality to grab
steady,
this game?
Freddie.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is it similar?
So.
Do you think it's similar in a way to Game 4, where you knew the Warriors were going to come out with their best punch? No KD, I get that, but they're going to come out with their best punch. Season sort of felt like it's on the line, trying to tie it up at 2-2, and it was an ugly first half. I mean, a lot of shots weren't falling, but the Raptors were sort of always in it. Not down big at the half, and then obviously went on the huge third quarter explosion. Do you think it's sort of similar tonight? You know the Warriors with KD are going to probably come out guns a-blazing. Defense is going to be fired up. and the Raps just need to keep it close.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. The Raptors just have to stay the Raptors and stay composed.
Yeah.
In Game 4, there was the huge burst for Klay Thompson. The Warriors got out to a great start. They were ahead in the first quarter. The Raptors were able to battle back playing defense and getting the ball to Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi kept him in the game for the first quarter, so they just got to play slow, kind of ugly basketball. Maybe they'll get to run a little bit on the Warriors, but I think in general, as long as the defense is there and as long as they can keep their mental psyches that they've been able to do for the entire playoffs, it's great as I say from the Raptors, just stay composed as usual.
I expect there'll be a couple of open looks if they do go with that death lineup, like we saw in Game 1 where they try to put Kawhi under the double. But that's going to open it up for Marc Gasol. You know what? He's been knocking it down. If those shots are there, he's got to take them. Same with Danny Green. Get him a couple of shots early on. The Raptors don't need to change anything right now. Just keep playing the way they've been playing. You expect everyone's going to be a little bit nervous in these first 4 or 5 minutes like we saw in Game 4. But once the Raptors settle down, things should play into their hands.
Do you put Kawhi Leonard on Kevin Durant right from the get-go? Or do you let Siakam guard him and switch it up? Oh, boy. Here we go. We should just ask
We got another lineup change.
Oh, boy. What do we got
what
here?
is this?
Somebody open it. We got mad poutine.
Break out the gravy and cheese, Mama. This series is over.
That's hot gravy. Very hot. Very hot. Oh, very good, though. Very good. Throw it.
Wow.
Man, it's incredibly hot gravy.
What's better than this?
Woo!
Thank you,
Raps
Raptor.
high five.
I needed that.
One more.
I was quite hungry. Holy
We're
moly.
home, and now we're home. It feels like we're.
I can't talk.
No, you've been brown nosing a little bit.
Yeah. Someone get me a napkin.
So we're looking at this stat here. We recognize that one team on the bottom. Yeah, the one team that has lost up 3-1 is the Golden State Warriors. But I think this scenario is just a little bit different.
Yeah, but you know they're going to come into this game pretty confident that they only need to win this game right now. They're only focusing on Game 5 because if Kevin Durant gets through this game and if the Warriors win, you know that they're going to feel very confident going back to Oakland for Game 6. So that's where the Warriors are. They're not looking ahead. They're not worried about Game 7 right now. They're just looking tonight.
You're focusing on Game 5. I'm focusing on the poutine all over my face, the gravy all over my face.
We got to get Grant Hill out here. He loves poutine.
He does love poutine. It's a Canadian delicacy.
I think the Raps are pumped to see Kevin Durant too. They want to beat the Warriors with Kevin Durant.
You think so?
Yeah, of
course
and
they do,
It's a boost. It's a boost for them as well.
Yeah.
And
I
a team that's at 100% versus a team that's not.
Yeah, no, I think there is some truth to that. Do you think it removes that asterisk a little bit if he plays in one game?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Obviously, he missed those first 4 games, but if he does come back tonight, and you know what, it doesn't matter. Fans always try to find a reason to discredit a championship, but if the Raptors go out there and Kevin Durant plays and they win, then it's going to be a great old time.
I got to get out in this crowd, get a little rain on me to wash the poutine off. I really went all in on that. That was a horrible idea. It was scalding hot, too.
That was the hottest
I think I've
gravy
got
I've ever
30
had on my
burns.
face.
All right, from poutine to curry, come on back.
The Starters is presented by Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 and Tennessee Honey.
It's the Starters live from Jurassic Park ahead of Game 5 of the NBA Finals. It's a little wet out there, but no one really cares. Spirits are high here in Toronto. And we're about, 2.5 hours away from the start of that Game 5 in the 6th. We've already talked about some of the big picture angles heading into this one, but let's get a little more specific. Let's talk about what you're watching for in Game 5. What do you got your eye on, Tap?
I'm watching Steph Curry because as he goes, the Warriors shall go, and he should have more room because Kevin Durant is playing, period. There's got to be somebody on Kevin Durant at all times. So basically, they're playing 4-on-4 on the other side of the floor, and Steph was frustrated at the end of Game 4. You saw him very angry. You don't see Steph like that very often. And because he'll be playing 4-on-4, the Raps will be watching him, but Steph will have space. And will he be able to pick up the slack that's Kevin Durant won't be able to do out there? I don't think Kevin Durant's going to have a 40. But Steph potentially wants to get back to that Game 3 he had. He went from 31 field goals attempted in that Game 3 to 22 in Game 4. He's got to boost that. And I feel like he's just going to let it fly here. He knows his back's against the wall. We're going to see a Steph show, whether it's good or bad, I feel like.
Well, the thing is, I think with Steph, you're starting to see he's a little bit fatigued, I think, in this series. A lot to do with the Kevin Durant injury, but also this is their 5th year in the NBA Finals. They've played basically 20 games extra per season over these last 5. It catches up with you after a while. And I think, you know, all the workload that Steph has and the media commitments, he gets to a bit of a point where there's so much pressure on him, he wasn't able to sort of dominate like he has done in years gone by.
But the defense is
Look,
has
the
been
defense,
spectacular.
The defense has been spectacular, no doubt. But I think a combination of these factors has led to the point where the Warriors, when they used to go up by double digits, they were almost unbeatable. Now when they go up by double digits, the Raptors feel like they're still in the game. And I think we saw that in Game 4. So I think all those things are in it. But again, the Warriors know the series is not over. And that is what they have to their advantage tonight.
Yeah, and that actually all factors into my thing I'm watching for tonight is everybody else on the Warriors. Because like you guys are saying, if Kevin Durant is out there, he's drawing eyes. Maybe they're playing 4-on-4, but a lot of times in the series, it's basically been 2-on-5 for the Warriors. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson haven't been able to do it all. We saw Steph in Game 3, 47 points. That was a loss. They combined for 56 points in Game 4. That was also a loss because the other guys on the Warriors, your Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, Sean Livingston, Quinn Cook, they didn't do much out in Oracle. Shot 37% from the field. Guys who weren't Klay and Steph, only 6 for 30 from 3. That's just not enough. This is a 5-man basketball team. They're all about strength in numbers. Their role players didn't show up at home. Will they show up on the road? They definitely did in Game 2. That was huge. Quinn Cook made 3 threes, 3 oops for Bogut, 11 for Boogie. You got to have a game. You got to have a Fred VanVleet game. You got to have a Patrick McCaw game. We've seen those for the Raptors in the past. Who's going to be the game for the Warriors?
And they got to play 48 minutes because since that third quarter of Game 2 where the Raptors faltered that 18-0 run, they've been locked in. You got to play 48 minutes. So yeah, the Raps have to close this out and steal it from the Warriors, but I feel like the way the Raps are playing, the Warriors have to steal this game from Toronto.
Yeah.
They have to play a full 48 minutes.
And we're talking about another Warrior to step up. That does sort of go hand in hand with the whole idea of Kevin Durant playing and taking minutes from some of these guys that are just not contributing.
You're right.
Jerebko, McKinney, you know, they're not really giving them a whole lot, the Warriors, over the last 2 games, especially back in the Oracle. So just giving those minutes to Kevin Durant, if he's at 50%, 60%, 75%, whatever arbitrary number you want to throw on his health, that's just better. That's just quite frankly better than what any of those guys are giving them.
I wonder how much the bench guys get a morale boost just from having their best player all season. Just from them going back to their roles that they're used to, whether it be at home or the road. Yeah, role players play better at home, but I feel like they will feel great just seeing Kevin Durant out there and being back to their normal roles.
Lee, what are you watching for?
Well, I think one of the factors that has helped the Raptors, the advantage they have, as being dominant big players in Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka on both ends of the floor. Marc Gasol coming into this series, we wondered if he might get played out of it a little bit because he's a little bit slower, but offensively he's been knocking down shots, he's been going into the post and scoring over the little guys of the Warriors, and then defensively, particularly in Game 4, Serge Ibaka had a real impact on that game. Blocking shots, grabbing rebounds, being out on the floor, contesting shots. And again, going back to what we said earlier, I think the Warriors' bigs rotation isn't all that impressive right now for various reasons, injury and health and just experience. So I think that is a clear advantage for Toronto. If they can dominate again there tonight at both ends, I think they're going to put themselves in a very strong position to win this game.
Again, though, with KD, if he's there, and the Warriors, if they go small right away, it's like either Gasol will flourish because they can get it to him inside, or he'll have room to let the threes fly, or he could get, in theory, he could get played off the floor because there's just too much speed from the Warriors, you know, super small lineup. That's what's intriguing to me. I think Nurse gives it a go, sees what type of Gasol just mentally you have. We've seen him from game to game at times, really locked in, lets it fly, other times thinking twice about it. Luckily for Nurse and the Raptors, they have Serge Ibaka, who's coming off his best game in a long time, especially in that second half, going for the 20-plus in Game 4, that you can roll with him as a bit of a more athletic 5.
Yeah.
Or Siakam, even, for that matter.
That's totally true. And from the Warriors' perspective, you might not see DeMarcus Cousins in this game, or Andrew Bogut if it's not working out. You might just see Kevon Looney and Draymond Green play the minutes at the 5. And the good thing about Nick Nurse is he's staying nimble. No matter what happens.
Nimble Nick.
We can switch it up.
He is not afraid to switch it up.
That's what his hat stands for, Nimble Nick.
It's not Nick Nurse. No, he has proven time and time again throughout these playoff runs that he'll try something. You know, we'll try a crazy box and one. we'll try switch ups,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I wouldn't be shocked, again, with the whole KD angle, if suddenly we do see Siakam at the 5 and he gives it a couple minutes and he tries it out to match, sort of small with small and speed with speed.
But is this too late? Is Kevin Durant come back too late? Did they wait too long? Were they too safe with Clay? Will this come back to bite them in the butt?
That's true. Here's what I'm watching for. It sort of goes to what you guys were talking about. Who will be the Raptors' second star? I keep hammering this point home throughout this finals, throughout the playoffs. Kawhi at this point is a machine, and you can lock him in for 30 points. It's just what he's going to give you. And I saw Nick Young even tweeting today, because there's been some comparisons. Yeah, Swaggy P. Talking about this idea of like Kawhi sort of Kobe-like, MJ-like, right? And Nick Young tweeted out, Kawhi is the best robot player to ever play. The dude's cold, but he don't move like Kobe or fly with style like MJ. Do y'all watch hoops? I think Nick is missing the point. Swaggy's missing the point with this. The comparisons to me of Kawhi to MJ and Kobe are that they're just those automatic 32, 35, 40-point scorers. It's 8 every quarter, 9 every quarter. It's getting to the line. They're just a battering ram that just keeps coming and coming. MJ and Kobe were going about getting their points a little differently than Kawhi. I get that. But it's the accumulation and just the non-stop battering time and time again, getting to the line, going on a little 5-0, 6-0 run. That's what those guys did, and that's what Kawhi has done. So who helps him out?
Yeah, certainly getting to his spots as well. He goes where he wants the ball to score. And not a lot of guys are able to do that as well as he has and as consistently as he has, because that to me is what stands out. When Nick Nurse trusts when he's at the bench, the other Raptors players can score, but when Kawhi goes out there and in the end of basket, he's like, I'm going here, give me the ball, and I'm going to go and score.
Right, and so to go to that point of who helps him out. Game 1, Pascal Siakam, 32 points, huge, they get the win. Game 3, they lose Game 2, Game 3, Kyle Lowry, bit of a breakout on the road. Danny Green catching fire from 3 in Game 3. And then Serge Ibaka, like we talked about, the 20 in Game 4. So is it one of those guys that plays sort of the Robin to Kawhi's Batman? Is it one of the other Raptors? Marc Gasol maybe, Fred VanVleet. Maybe Norman Powell, for all we know. He gets his 5 or 6 minutes, and Nick Nurse likes something you see. That's the key to the Raptors, to me, for winning Game 5. Who helps out Kawhi on that offensive end?
And it's easy for those secondary stars to follow Kawhi Leonard, because he's not just a battering ram. In Game 4, he was the shield. Yeah. When the Warriors came out and threw that big punch, he had 13 points in the first quarter. And that's why they were only down 6 after the first quarter, because he did what he had to do. And then in the third quarter, he was MJ Kobe-like, where he said, this is mine, I'm doing this. And he won them the game in that third quarter, taking over. And those other guys fall in line. Kyle Lowry has never been a better version of Kyle Lowry to me. Right. Because he's doing everything, because he can see that number 1 taking over. And Michael Jordan's passing the torch to Kawhi Leonard as we speak. What am I saying? It just feels right. It feels like these nutsos are going to see a series-ending win.
Do you guys have any predictions? Not in terms of who wins the game, but who could be the Raptors' second star tonight?
I always got love for Fred VanVleet. They set up a Jurassic Park in Illinois for Fred VanVleet. He's not going to let Rockford be sad. He's going to be partying in Magic Waters when he goes home in the summer. I'm expecting another Fred VanVleet game. He has zero fear in his heart. He's not going to be fazed by a Game 5 closeout in the finals.
I'm going with Kyle Lowry, because let's go back to Game 1 of the playoffs against Orlando. They lose at home. Kyle puts up a goose egg. No points. People are like, here we go again. Since then, Kyle Lowry has been unbelievable for this team. Not only scoring the ball, throwing his body on the line, taking charges. Sometimes he's a little aggressive on defense. We've seen him get into foul trouble. But he, at this stage of the season, we know he's having surgery on that thumb after this season. As soon as it ends, he doesn't care right now. He's sacrificing his body like a true leader. He's never been this close to a championship. He's going to do anything he can tonight. He might only have 5 or 10 points, but those 38 minutes or whatever he is out on the floor, he's giving 110%. And I just think that is why he has been so good in this entire playoff run.
One thing I'm concerned about is Fred VanVleet wearing a mouth guard. Do you have any advice for him wearing a mouth guard, Lee? I know you ball in a mouth guard.
Yeah, he should have been wearing one the other game. He lost, 2 feet?
Just half a one. Just half a one.
Oh, right.
Those are good. Have the stitches. Back in a second from Jurassic Park. Going to continue to talk about this improbable Raptors playoff run when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We're live from Jurassic Park. It's crazy. Back with the starters live from Jurassic Park. Get ready for Game 5 of the NBA Finals. Shout out to the Raptor who brought us some poutine earlier, and we just dug in it. Whoa, Trey, a little too hot, was it?
A little too hot.
Yeah, Yeah,
My
might have
taste
cooled
buds
down
are
now.
gone.
Yeah, it's you scald the top of your mouth for sure. I just started throwing fries up into the crowd. People are hungry here. Yeah, they're all grabbing them. Right. Thanks again to the Raptor for bringing that by.
Thanks,
the set.
Raptor.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, there's no doubt, win or lose this finals, that this has been the most iconic Raptors playoff run in season.
They've already won the championship. This is just a cherry on top.
But last week, Lee, you had a chance to catch up and talk with Raptors legend Vince Carter about his sort of iconic playoff run back in 2001. Let's have a look.
Vince's playoff time, greatest time of the year. I want to go back in time a little bit. 2001, round 2, game 3 against Philadelphia 76ers. Series is 1-1. Key game, game 3. You come out in that first half and you're just on fire. Everything you throw up goes in.
We felt it was a must-win game to protect home. So my mentality was to come out and I just had to just hit first and just be aggressive for my team. So when you're playing and you're feeling good, you hit shots. But when you're in the zone, it's kind of like next level. I saw an easy layup, a mid-range, and then from the 3, I started coming off shooting the 3, and it just felt so easy. And you make 2, you make 3. And then just the rim opens up. And I remember in the corner, I got the tip rebound. I tip it, I catch it, I kind of turn around. I remember my shorts were falling down, and I was trying not to. I didn't want, I'm thinking, I'm talking about game 3 in a big game. I'm worried about my shorts falling down, but still playing the game. So I kind of shot the ball like wide leg so my pants wouldn't fall all the way down, and made the shot. And after that, I just felt like I just couldn't miss. Beating them handily is what we wanted. It's not, to send a message, but yes, now we're back in, and now we're up 2-1 because we knew who we were playing against. We knew what Allen Iverson was capable of.
And you talk about Allen Iverson because then back in Philadelphia, he went for 50 again.
He was dropping 50s throughout the year, and the series, I think he was averaging like 42 to 44, somewhere in there, and I was right there. It was just two guys, 2 stars, 2 leaders of the team battling out, and it was like our will to win. And we got to a game 7 where I just missed that shot.
You mentioned like the game-winning miss, of course, but when Kawhi Leonard hit that one against Philadelphia,
it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see for me, and obviously, social media and everybody talked about it. It was kind of cool to see again, but it's kind of, I cringe sometimes because I know I could make that shot. And I made that shot going home that night when we got back into Toronto like 7 times just for myself. But it was kind of cool to see. It was kind of the same kind of fadeaway type shot. I wasn't fortunate enough to get the extra bounce. I hit the back rim. He kind of hit the front of the rim to a couple of bounces in or whatever. But it was kind of great to see, and it was refreshing to see it go in for the fact of it was 18 years, and finally, I think Raptor fans can feel better about it. We finally got the lucky bounce, and to get to move forward to possibly holding up the trophy.
Very, very cool stuff. Shout out to Vince for taking some time to talk to you. It must have been surreal for you.
It was really awesome talking about him because I remember being in Toronto for that series against Philadelphia when, they were down against New York in that first series, then against Philadelphia. They, should have won that series. So to see the Raptors now, 18 years later, get the victory over Philadelphia and advance, it was a really cool moment for Vince and a cool moment for me to talk to him about it.
Yeah, it's a crazy what-if, too.
Yeah.
In 2001, if they get by Philly, well, then there's the Bucks.
Yeah.
Do they get by them? Back then, they obviously got by them here in 2019.
Watching Vince talk about it makes me feel like if they win this series, Vince playing his last year, bring him back to see if you get him one defending the ship, the one that he never got.
Wow. It's
It would
possible.
make logical
And look,
sense, right?
Word is that Vince Carter is going to be here in the arena for Game 5 tonight. The place is going to go insane when they show him. There are rumors that DeMar DeRozan might be in attendance as well. People would go just as crazy for that.
Bring back all the Raptors. Anyone who's ever worn a Raptor jersey, come hang out.
Where are you at, Vincenzo Esposito?
Yeah, get him out here. Well, let's talk about this Raptors playoff run, of course, being 1 win away from the title. What's the most memorable moment as the rain gets a little stronger here in Jurassic Park? In case you couldn't tell on camera, it is pouring.
It's pouring and the DJ is raging.
Yeah, what's your
Everything's amping up in volume.
What's your most memorable moment?
It's got to be the shot. It has to be the shot. If you're gonna, focus on something on the floor. That was such an even series. When you look back, they were down 2-1. They could have been out of that series. They found a way to win in Game 4, and this was a 7-game series coming down to this. Dang! Doesn't get any better than that. It literally doesn't.
It was wild considering the playoffs. We saw Damian Lillard's series-ending jumper in the first round. We're like, man, this could be one of the greatest shots we've seen. A month later, we see a shot arguably better, an even crazier shot. Everybody was celebrating in their houses, doing their silent air punches. It was wild. We've never seen a bounce like that.
No, we've never seen a game-winning, buzzer-beater, series-deciding game like that. It's just unbelievable. It's hard to go past that, but I also think Game 5 against Milwaukee on the road was pretty key, because the Raptors got themselves back into it, but you thought the Bucks probably at home are going to be hard to beat, but Kawhi was brilliant. The Raptors go on to win Game 5, and then, of course, you were back here for Game 6.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I have to personally pick Game 6, where they advanced to the finals, to the finals to take on the Warriors, winning their first conference finals. You know, we already talked about it. It felt like a championship. It really did. I mean, I was out here on the streets. It wasn't raining, fortunately, that night. Not that it's going to matter if they win tonight, but it felt like the Raps had won the title. Just getting there, Kyle Lowry, who generally never smiles, always seems a little grumpy cat. He was smiling.
What a beautiful smile that was, too.
He broke character because, you know, this the longest tenured Raptor to get over the hump and finally get there. It was pretty wild. So I picked that one just because I was in attendance. Sorry, Tass, and I get flight troubles. Never go on standby. Never go on standby the day you got to get home or something. Lessons learned.
Yeah, cancel my ticket.
What do you guys think? If the Raps finish off the Warriors, how would this championship team be remembered in terms of other title teams? Are they a random winner? You know, like maybe a Mavericks from 2011, even a 2004 Pistons? Is that sort of where they'll fall in line in history?
Definitely. They're gonna be remembered for being the team that nobody expected to win the championship, just like the 04 Pistons were, just like the 2011 Mavs were, especially knocking off, assuming they do, a dynasty in Golden State. That's exactly what happened with the Pistons and the Mavericks as well. Also, the weird part about it is that all of these guys who are now contributing for the Raptors had major moments against the Warriors in the Western Conference, so it's almost like you're getting the Avengers of people who couldn't beat the Warriors the first time, bringing them all together to take them down. It's a strange way they were put together, but it's obviously worked out.
The Raptors have a reputation in the playoffs of always blowing it somehow, losing that first game at home. And remember, again, going back to that Orlando series, they lose that first game, and it's like, oh, here we go again. They win that series. They're down against Philadelphia, got crushed in Game 3 in that series. Game 4 is in Philadelphia. They pull out the victory. Then again against Milwaukee, down 2-0. Looked like they'd run out of gas a little bit, and they get back in to now be in a position where they are leading with a chance to close out against the Warriors. This was like no one predicted it to get to this point.
Yeah, this is why, as a Raptors fan, I'm like a little concerned, because it was fine when it felt like I was the only one that believed in the Raptors outside of other Raptors fans here in Toronto. That was fine. And suddenly now it's flipped, where we've talked to a lot of the media members. I'm sure you guys have heard and seen. It feels like everybody's picking the Raptors. Oh, it's over. It's over in Game 5. I don't know if I like that. I'd rather be the underdog than being at this point the favorite.
Totally. It comes with the territory of the DNA of being a Raptors fan, to be a little insecure, to not feel like you're ever going to win anything. And now everybody feels like they're sitting pretty. They're sitting on a mountain of confidence right now. I get that's definitely a worry, but the team in that locker room will never waver. They won't.
Yeah.
They won't.
Yeah.
The Raptors won't waver. I think as far as how we'll remember them, I do want to see the script that Kawhi writes for himself in the future, because maybe if Kawhi goes and wins a title somewhere else, wins a title here, it's different, right? Like if he wins a second one here, maybe we look at the superstar as people are starting to depict him as the dynasty killer, killing the Heat in their last year, potentially killing the Warriors before KD leaves. There's a story left to be written for Kevin Durant. I think that's what's different than the Pistons. That
Kawhi,
I'm sorry, for Kawhi, is that he is a super duper star, and the Pistons didn't have that, although everybody wants to depict this Raptors team as a team that doesn't have a lottery pick, and that's easy to do that for sure right now.
I think it makes sense that this Raptors team is being compared to both those 04 Pistons and the 2011 Mavericks, because they have a little bit of part of both of them. The 04 Pistons obviously taking down a dynasty in the Lakers, but they did it with defense. And eerily, if you look at the games they won in every series, so far it matches up even with this Raptors team. Whereas the 2011 Mavs, that was a bunch of veterans who were trying to take down, obviously, the Heatles, and you had the Dirk run, similar to the Kawhi run. So you can sort of see why you take two from both the 04 Pistons and the 11 Mavs. It's an unbelievable run. We got more to come here live from Jurassic Park, where the rain gets a little harder with each passing minute, and everybody gets a little more pumped as we get closer to Game 5. We'll talk Warriors and KD's future when we return. Back with the starters live from Jurassic Park. Here come the Warriors. Steph Curry looking sharp, locked in. Got the beats on. Maybe he's listening to Drake. We're hearing some starter from the bottom.
Wow.
Right here, out here in Jurassic Park. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, so when he sees him in the arena, he's not phased. I've been listening to you all day. No big deal.
All right, let's play a little true or false Warriors edition. First one, guys. If they lose tonight, are the Warriors still a dynasty?
Yeah, true. 3 and 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I would say it's true. Like Taz said, 3 and 4 years. The 1 year they didn't win so far. 73 wins, lost in historic fashion after blowing the 3-1 lead. This year they still made it back to the finals. That's 5 straight finals appearances. They've had a guy win 2 MVPs. They've had another 3 finals MVPs, 4 All-Stars, a Defensive Player of the Year. Basically everything except for 6th man, which Andre Iguodala could have won. Certainly they're a dynasty.
So you don't need to have the three-peat in your opinion.
It helps to be an upper echelon dynasty, but 3 and 4 is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a team like the San Antonio Spurs, who have been the model of consistency over the last 20 years. They only made it back to the finals one time in 2012 and 13, or 13-14. So that just shows how hard it is to do that. Whereas the Warriors have made it 5 years in a row. And that, to me, is what makes you a dynasty. They're going to be over 500, of course, in those finals appearances. That, to me, is enough for a dynasty.
And it's still not over.
Exactly.
It's still not over.
Oh, it sure sounds like it's over. I guess the 2 iterations of their team kind of hurt them in terms of a dynasty, because you have Kevin Durant for 2 of those wins and not for 1 of those wins. It's not
before KD and after.
Yeah.
You think so?
Well, when you're looking at the dynasty, yeah. Well, especially for people who want to knock them for having a guy come join a 73-win team.
Sure.
Yeah, but I'm a dynasty. Everybody's definition of a dynasty is different. For the Spurs, 4 and 9 or 5 and 16, how you look at it, that's a dynasty to me. But it's a ranking of a dynasty.
I do think if they don't come back from down 3-1 to win this finals, that they probably fall a little bit short of the greatest team ever conversation.
Yeah.
Now, if they come back from 3-1 and they go 3-peat, and then who knows even what they do next year, then I think there's a case to be made for sure. But otherwise, they're just below maybe some of your 3-peat teams like Jordan's Bulls.
I remember when LeBron said, when we came back from 3-1, that's when I knew I was the best ever. You're going to get a lot of Warriors trolling LeBron saying that if they come back from 3-1.
All right, well, next one here, true or false, guys. The Warriors can stay at championship level without KD if he were to leave.
I think so. They just swept the Western Conference Finals without KD, and there would be a KD replacement. I haven't thought about Harrison Barnes more this whole season than I have in the last 2 weeks.
Well,
because Harrison Barnes helped them win a championship. If Harrison Barnes was on this team for the first 4 games of the series, who the heck knows what this series is, right? I mean, there is going to be a KD replacement on this team is what I'm saying. And he was a good scorer.
And it'll be an above-average wing you would expect.
Right.
The only real question for the Warriors is they've got a lot of guys who are due big money contracts coming up. Draymond's getting a big one, Clay's getting a big one, and Kevin Durant, depending on what he wants to do, can get paid, and Steph's already on his supermax. Someone is going to miss out. Someone's not going to be able to get that huge payday. That person's going to move on. But again, the Warriors have shown over the last few years they can get high-quality talent to replace that, and that's why I think they will remain a competitive team and a title-contending team.
They're going to have to play totally different, though, if there's no Kevin Durant around, because they've basically punted the regular season for 3 straight years.
Yeah.
If you lose Kevin Durant, you don't have 2 MVPs on your team. You got to try during the regular season. Obviously, when they tried, they won 73 games back in the day. They finished with the first seed in 2015 as well. Sorry, I got a little drip right here. Nonetheless, I do think the Warriors would have to put forward a consistent effort to stay contenders, but they can do it.
Yeah.
Gotta take another break. When we come back, though, live from Jurassic Park, it's so hard to say goodbye.
In memoriam.
We don't know yet. We'll take you through some of our favorite starters' memories over the last 6 years. Flew by. Raptors fans still flooding in to Jurassic Park. It's wet out there, nobody cares. Everybody pumped for Game 5 of the NBA Finals in about 2 hours and change. Guys, believe it or not, we're getting close to ending our 6th season with NBA TV. We've done over 1,300 shows and podcasts, all of them classic, which is amazing. Good run.
Classic.
Good run. But seeing as this could be our final show with NBA TV, we thought it would be fun to revisit some of our favorite starters moments. Good evening, Sweet World! Hey, yo!
Shooting's not about seeing, it's about feeling.
Maybe I come live with you for a year. We work on it every day. We just work on my routine.
There it is. Cash. My work is done. I like that you ran the treadmill for our whole show. Shout out to your team, too, the starters, man. Real talk. I love your show.
Some of the best content that the NBA offers up. I wish I was a regular. I love this show.
Who's the most valuable player, Giannis or Harden? What you got today?
For me, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo.
And the winner is the Greek Freak.
First of all, I want to thank Tasmelas for hitting on me. It was my source of motivation. It's an honor for me. Thank you, stars.
It's officially guest season.
Watch you guys all the time.
I love it. This is one of my favorite shows.
Jason Kidd is going to coach again.
Yes.
That's going to happen. Sunbathe at a nude beach. Bucket or chuck it?
Bucket!
If I saw Bill Lambert, I throw his mug at him.
He was shaking me, and then he said, "Don't you remember this move?" I was like, "That move looked kind of familiar." He goes, "It's your move." Then he goes, "Wow."
You want to fight another Australian?
We're all good.
It's pretty absurd of you, though. I didn't think anyone caught me doing that.
I can hear you, man.
Well, you guys really killing it.
Do people ever ask you, do you look like Trey Kirby?
I haven't got that one yet.
Thanks, James. Thanks, little beard.
Sitting in a window seat on an airplane.
I thought the tea would help your voice a little bit.
Next time I come here and I don't see a Shaq picture, I'm tearing the studio down.
Are you pulling it or not?
It's going to be a beautiful show with beautiful people.
It's a party now!
I'm the Thunder from Down Under.
It's like the farmer from down under. Look at that tan.
Say hi to the GoPro people at home.
Hey, guys. What an exciting moment this is.
I can't hear nothing.
You have to block all the crazies like me out of your life.
Couldn't give you a 10 because I've seen that dunk before.
Not original at all. Man, I can't see where I'm going here, guys. I can barely breathe.
Guys, I might get blown off here. Who knows what's going to happen? I love gold! Is this Task dancing? Is this Hito?
I smash bananas.
What do we got?
It's uncanny.
Haagen Dogs.
There it is.
I feel like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Stop! This looks like my do, right? This is great live television.
I promise I'm not crying. It's just the rain. It's just the rain. Those aren't tears. Don't you worry. All right, when we come back, we're going to make some Game 5 predictions. Don't go anywhere. Back with the starters live from Jurassic Park, getting ready for Game 5 of the NBA Finals. There's DeMarcus Cousins, Quinn Cook rolling in. They're locked in. We're about 2 hours away from singing "O Canada" together.
Yep.
Lee, you remember the words?
I sure do, man. Yeah.
20,000 of us singing "O Canada." Okay,
The
let's
updated
get some Game 5 predictions. What do you got? Let's hear it.
I think Serge Ibaka will have a pretty big game because he's bigger than the Warriors. The Warriors are probably going to go small to help out that center rotation that's struggling. We just saw Serge have a big game. I expect this place to be bonkers with him doing some dunking.
All right.
Kyle Lowry he wants this moment so badly. He was awesome against the Bucks in that series. He's been awesome in this series. I think at home with this crowd behind him. We saw that smile when he closed out Game 6 against Milwaukee. We're going to see an even more beautiful smile tonight. He's going to be awesome. He's going to be diving for everything. I think the Raptors win it.
Okay.
We'll also be seeing a broken smile tonight after the Fred VanVleet game, showing off that cracked tooth. Game 5, Freddie showing up. Give me the Vince Carter jersey, because it's over. It's over.
I've had a premonition for weeks. I told you guys this last night. A premonition that the Raptors win the finals in 7. I think I may have been off a little bit. The Raptors are going to win by 7 points tonight and take it in 5, and this city is going to go bonkers, rain or not. It doesn't matter. Thanks so much for joining us here live from Jurassic Park. Game time is coming up next.
We might be on it.
Ooh, spoiler.
Maybe we'll have another show.
Oh, why not? A post-game show.
I guess we have more shows.
We're staying up all night if the Raptors win this championship. There is no doubt. Enjoy the game, guys. And what's the worst that can happen? We just get more basketball.